Well, that number just keeps on rising. Hi, I'm Kodjo, the Christian Tech Guy, and what you just saw was a running kind of number of how many users there are of the Youversion Bible App. Well, that's how many they claim are using it, and as you can see, it's in the hundreds of millions. So today I decided to, over a period of time, work on a review and I guess also tutorial of the app, because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of those users who are maybe not using the app to its full potential. So this is going to be the Youversion Bible App review/tour. Enjoy. Right, so let's get into the app. I should mention that you have different varying levels of functionality depending on whether you've got an internet connection or not. And I'll explain through the video when that, I guess, becomes something to talk about. So when you open up the app, you're welcomed by the home screen, and that will include stuff like the verse of the day. If you're working on a plan, it will also tell you what stage you're at, and it also give you other plan suggestions, as well as just a lot of other miscellaneous little stuff. So when you do get the app, if you don't have it already, you'll want to make an account. So you can do that by just going into settings and making an account over there by signing in. And once you have signed in and made an account, you can change your settings here. So change your password, notification settings, for example, and choose things like the font size, what font, whether or not it shows certain things, as you can all see there. And yeah, so other things for your Bible plan as well, if you choose to do one, which I would suggest would be a really good way to get some use out of the app. Continuing on, if you go to read, it takes you to what you've last reading, and that's an easy way to just get back into what you're maybe reading the previous day or just previously on your mobile phone. Plans I'm going to get back to later. Videos, it's just got some videos. It's not overly exciting. I'm not sure how many of them actually work. I've tried one before and it didn't work. But you've got a choice from the Jesus film and one from lumoproject.com. Live, that's a way you can actually find events of people who are also using the Youversion Bible app, and you can thus therefore interact with them accordingly. You can also create a live event. So let's say, for example, you know a group of 3 others, you want to do a Bible study with them, but you aren't in the same vicinity as them. You can just go in, create an event, connect up to them, and therefore do a kind of Bible study with them. There's a Q&A, so you can also ask questions alongside and answer them. And it's a really good resource for churches to use as well if they so wish. Share, that was the screen you saw right at the beginning, and then me, that kind of goes through your profile. And here you can go into where you've maybe made bookmarks or things that you've read and you really want to keep and kind of refer back to quickly. You can just go there. You can look at notes you've made, friends if you've connected with any, and also the highlights that you've made in various passages. And as it's an account sign-in, it keeps saved across all your devices. So if you, for example, signed into your tablet on the app, you would also be able to see what you've highlighted there, and therefore it keeps everything everything relatable across your different devices, and then at the bottom you also see the plan that you're currently in. So let's go back to read for a second. So you can choose what Bible versions you want to read by just clicking there, and with that you can therefore download a certain translation so that you can I guess read it without having an internet connection. So there are many translations to choose from. Many aren't actually what arguably can be classed as translations, because they're not very literal translations, and they don't render the original language as well. But they're all available there. Of course, I would suggest the English Standard Version and the NSAB as well, the New American Standard Bible or Standard Version. So yeah, they're choices you can make and download, so that when you don't have an internet connection, you can read the Bible on your phone. By clicking here, you can therefore go into all the books of the Bible. You can choose what order it comes in, whether traditional or alphabetical. You can also just quickly search for books by clicking on there, filter book, and then when you choose something, you can choose what chapter and then what verse as well. And of course, here again, you can choose what version you want to read. Now, once you've got into a chapter, you can double click to make it full screen. At the end of the video, I'm going to go through some things that I would like to see improved in future updates, and one is actually linked to going full screen, but I'll come back to that later. So yeah, you can read, and when you've done with that chapter, click on the arrows to go back and forth between the different chapters. Over here, you also have another quicker way to get into settings, so you can change the size, you can change the font, whether or not it shows your notes that you've made, whether or not it uses red letters, which is used in the Gospels for when Jesus is quoted. And you can choose, for example, whether you want it to be a white background with black text or a black background with white text. And I kind of interchangeably use it depending on whether I'm reading in my room at night, for example, or in another setting when it would be better to have a white background as opposed to a black background. And then this button here is one thing that you can only use when you have internet connection, and that is you can play the Bible so that it kind of works like an audible book. So for example, if you're in the car or doing some washing up, you can just hit that button, play, and what it will do is play that chapter, and then it will also go on to the next chapter when it finishes, and that will continue until, I guess, the end of the book that you're playing. And also, when you're in the reading mode, you can swipe right. Like to say, this is one of the things I have a gripe about. It sometimes stays, sometimes doesn't. A quick way, of course, is just to hit the kind of burger icon. But yeah, that's a quick way to get into, I guess, the home kind of settings again. And with that, let's also you can search in the text for a certain word. Say, for example, there was something you read and you wanted to quote it back to someone. You could just search or say it, and it will get it into, or look for it and tell you the results. A final thing in Read that I want to show you is when you click a verse, you can decide what to do with it. So highlight, bookmark, make a note, and then you can share as well. You can copy directly, or in other, you can decide to share it onto a third-party platform. And let's get on to the last thing, and that's plans. So when you go into plans, it will firstly show you your plan. So for example, I'm working through Bible in 1 year at the moment, so it shows you that. And then you can also browse more plans if you want to go through them. They have the features at the top, and then you can choose maybe devotional, family, partial Bible, whole Bible, youth, for example. And you can work through a plan on a daily basis. So for example, Bible in 1 year, that's what I'm currently using. I decided on the 1st of January, well, I guess to make it, I've read through the Bible before, but I wanted to kind of do it again with a little bit more structure, so I decided to use this. So today's the 22nd, but looking at the 21st, when you do your reading, it ticks it, something you can do as well is, say for example you didn't read it on the phone or your tablet, but you read it using a paper Bible. You can therefore go to the app and just tick those boxes. So for example, I've done all this reading, so I can tick them all, and then once you finish, it tells you, great job, well done for finishing that day, and it also tells you the percentage that you've gone through your plan. So as you can see, I'm at the very early stages, and that's 5.8% complete, and then you can decide to share it with others if you so wish. And you can change the view that you have, whether it's a day or a monthly view. So now for, I guess, the more downside of the app that I found. So one problem I have had is in some circumstances the words kind of merge with one another. So I'll actually find you one now. I took a screenshot of one that I had before, and what it means is that there are still a lot of bugs in the system which they need to clear out. And here it is. Sorry that took a while. So as you can see there, it says Sela Hagion, but it's all merged together, and therefore, and it happens quite a lot. Sometimes there's words without a space bar in it, and it just means that it's not as professional as it could be. You also sometimes get multiple notifications that are not necessary, which say the same things. So that would be a really nice thing for them to improve and work out with future app updates. And my final gripe is, so a lot of Android phones use on-screen buttons. So as you can see there, the back, home, and multitasking button. But when you go full screen, and with a lot of apps, for example games, Android has made it enabled it to go into immersive mode, and therefore you can have the whole screen real estate, for example the 5 inches on this phone, used without just having a black bar at the bottom where the notification buttons are. And that means with this you still do have the notification buttons there, as you can see. So it lacks the actual full screen mode, and it means that it's just a persistent black bar which could easily be removed with just a little bit of work on the app. That's I guess a little petty thing, but it's just something that I would like to see improve so that the app could be as good as it can be. So there we have it. I'm Kojo, the Christian Tech Guy, and that's my review of the Youversion Bible App. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, why don't you hit the like button, also share this video with others, and also subscribe to my channel to see future videos that should be coming soon. Thank you, and God bless.